Alright everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So recorded a couple of videos for Akane-Banashi now. We're going to try to get to at least chapter 15 today. So it gets me a little bit closer to being caught up with the series. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it with chapter Akane-Banashi, chapter 11, Myopic, with story by Yuki Suenaga, art by Takamasa Moe, with Rakugo supervision by Keiki Hayashiya, translation by Stephen Paul, lettering by Sneer Aaron. And we see Kane heading off to her school, greeting her friends. And you have Miss Sosaki. You forgot you had a meeting today to discuss your plans for the future, didn't you? And you see Window's guidance counseling. It's like, you're the only person in your class who hasn't turned in their survey yet. And she's like, what? Really? I'm sorry. It's like, you need to be more diligent about this sort of thing. Looking at the results of your recent midterm exams, I see that you worked hard. You didn't fail any of them. You have Machiko Iwashimizu, class 3-2 homeroom teacher. And she's like, that's right, I tried really hard this time. It's like, I see. It's like, meaning you weren't trying before. She's just like, goes from excited to be like, It's like, well, I'm sorry. It's like, that's fine. The problem is what comes next. With your grades, the schools you can get into are... It's like, oh, that's not going to be an issue. I'm going to be a Rakugoka, so I won't be applying to any companies or colleges. And her teacher's just so shocked her glasses kind of slip down her face, and she has to push them back up with an, oh, I see. Well then, let's see which colleges in your grade range have a Rakugo club on campus. And Akane's like, huh? But I'm not going to college. It's like, Miss Sosaki, I'm going to be very direct with you. In this day and age, not going to college or applying for a job after high school is putting yourself in a very difficult position. And choosing a career in something as obscure as Rakugo? I can't sign off on this. She's like, Sensei, have you ever seen Rakugo before? It's like, no, but I don't see why that... And she goes, in that case... She pulls out a flyer for Kyoji and... was it Kenbishi, another guy called Kenbishi's performance. And she goes, come to this event later today. Then you'll... She goes, Miss Osaki, what I need from you right now is not an event flyer. It's your future plan survey. Here are the pamphlets for the schools that match the requirements I mentioned a moment ago. Please look through them. I want you to turn in your survey by tomorrow. She's like, but all I'm going to write is Rakugoka. It's like, in that case, I will stay here after class to offer you guidance until you are able to select a preferred school. Once again, I insist that you turn in your survey on time. Akane is just like, her brain's just fritzing. She's like, oh man, this is bad. It's like, is she serious about this? She must be. They call her the Ice Queen. If I get stuck spending my time after school with her, I won't have any time left for lessons. Should I just fill out the form out with whatever? I feel like that would be kind of be admitting defeat. As she's walking out, you have a, what's with the long face? Who the fuck is this? I thought that was Guriko for a second. It's apparently not. And you have, did Iwa-sensei tell you off or something? You have, oh, Jumbo, what are you doing here? It's like, I'm next for the guidance counseling interview. It's like, you have permission from your parents and your master to do Rakugo, right? So it shouldn't really matter what she says to you. It's like, what? What's that face you're making? She's just like checking away, like, yeah, it's like, look at you all grown up. I can't believe you're the same little boy who used to fake cry to get me in trouble. Oh, shit, this must be a bully bro from the first chapter, the one that was telling her off for her dad being a disappointment or whatnot. He's like, come on. He's like, I told you to stop bringing that up. She's like, Jumbo, I think getting into judo did you a lot of good. Like, just shut up. What gives you the right to be so patronizing? It's like, well, thanks. He's like, huh? It's like, you were worried I was feeling down, right? I'll be fine. I don't like feeling like I've lost an argument. I'm going to make Iwa-sensei recognize that Rakugo is the career for me. He's like, cool. Good to hear. And she comes out and says, excuse me, can you hurry up over there? And they both bow and are like, sorry, ma'am. It's like, I understand that you have an athletics recommendation for Judo Ozaki. It's like, yes, I'm going to be taking lessons under Coach Saito. It's like, that's right. And she's silent for a second before she goes, did Miss Osaki seem upset to you? It's like, huh? It's like, maybe a little, but she'll be fine. I know it. Because that's so. Still, I think I was a bit hard on her. I should apologize for that later. And he's like, are you against Akane becoming a Rakugoka sensei? So that's none of your business, Ozaki. It's like, oh, come on, just tell me. It's like, well, if you insist. I think she's certainly got some measure of social intelligence, but I always see her losing focus during class. I'll hear her muttering bizarre things to herself, or smiling at nothing in particular. In all honesty, I'm worried about her. It's like, oh, I see. It's like that airhead. It's like, and sometimes students can be myopic, making decisions about their futures based on some fleeting feelings. I suspect she's one of them, which is why I'm being a bit more forceful in trying to guide her in the right direction. He thinks back to his meeting with Akane, where he goes, "So you're gonna be a Rakugoka after what happened with your dad?" He's like, "I made up my mind. I've already made up my mind." He's like, "Sensei, did you get that flyer from Akane?" It's like, "I didn't get it from her. She shoved it into my hand." And he's like, "Sensei, would you like to go see that event with me?" It's like, "No, thank you. Attending an out-of-school event with a male student would damage my reputation." You're like, "Okay, fine. We can arrive separately. But I think you should watch some Rakugo before you decide if she's being myopic or not." It's like, "I can't help but notice you're arguing a lot on her behalf." It's like, "It's not like that. It's just, I've known her since elementary school, and I feel like I understand the weight of Kane's decision a bit more than others do." And she's like, "You seem to be speaking between the lines. It's like, if you want to know what I mean, you should go watch. Unless you want to judge her future without seeing what she's so passionate about. But that would be myopic, wouldn't it?" You see later at the cafe, she's taking one of the seats at the back. She's like, "Huh, I see. It's in a mixed-use building, so it seemed fishy from the outside. But it's a nicer place than I expected, and there's a good crowd." And you hear, "Oh, are you Akane's friend? Well, enjoy the show." And you see Ozaki over off to the side as the landlady proprietress goes and greets him. It's like, Ozaki did come too. It's like, "We're all ready, boss." It's like, "Coming." It's like, so the owner of this place already knows Akane? And why were both Osaki and Ozaki so insistent on this particular event? What is it they want to show me? And see Akane heading out onto the stage with Akane? But why? Her name wasn't on the flyer. Isn't this a professional event? She's performing in front of so many adults, but she looks so relaxed. It's like she's a different person than the girl at school. And you see Akane going, "I hope you'll sit back and indulge me in a little tale." Alright, so interesting chapter, I guess. I think career counseling is more of a thing in Japan than it is here in America, so I can't really speak to the specific cultural nuances and differences of it. But I do understand the relatableness of a teacher trying to tell you what's good for you, and not really understanding wanting to pursue your passions and everything, trying to make you consider keeping your options open. So I feel like I'm on both sides of this, where I'm yeah, of course Wachiko's trying to keep Akane's options open for her, so that no matter what she decides to do, eventually she has different opportunities she can pursue. And Akane is kind of one track determined mind. Is no, this is what I want to do. No matter what, I've already made up my mind. Why do I need to consider anything else? I'm kind of butting heads a little bit. And you can see I think shades of Akane being potentially coded as being neurotypical, the daydreaming in class and not paying attention, being super hyper focused on the one thing that she really, really likes. And I can see how that comes off to the teachers, being not taking things seriously and being too I want to say flirty, because I'm not saying flirty and she's flirting with someone, being too carefree with her future. I see how it comes off that way again with her actions and stuff in the chapter. Kind of got a little bit into the tropey thing of the childhood bully grew up, from being a chunky kid to, being the fit grown adult. So I'm not really sure what direction they're going with this, if he's going to be potentially put in as a love interest or what, or it's just going to be a childhood friend, childhood bully turned friend, I guess. But I do like that, Akane does have people kind of going to bat for her in her corner as well. So I'm assuming in the next chapter, like we'll see, like the teacher kind of going through the whole thing, like realizing how good she is at her craft, and kind of like still giving her, and kind of giving her a little bit more leeway, and being like, yeah, you can pursue it. I feel like I'd like to still have her be like, yeah, you can still pursue this, blah blah blah. But I still would like you to consider other options, just keep some avenues open, just in case. But we'll see. We'll see how all that plays out. But yeah, apart from that, like the chapter a little bit, but feels like it went a little bit into tropey territory on this one. But we'll see how the rest of it plays out before I kind of finalize my thoughts on that. But yeah, so like I said at the beginning, I'm going to try to get around to chapter 15 by today. Just so I'm kind of about the halfway mark for chapters. I can hopefully catch up with it by next week. As always, if you like my content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really appreciate everyone tuning in for this video. Until next time, this is Ash. Talk to you all later.